My name's Pete Woods, you're watching Hexhamtv. Who are you?
I'm Penny Grennan. I'm standing as a town councillor in Leazes ward for the Labour Party in the election on the 1st of May.
So Penny, tell me a little bit about your background.
So the most relevant thing I think is that for the last 4 years I have been a town councillor, so people can look at my record, but the thing that I'm really committed to is the flourishing of the town. I think there's lots of things that are very good about Hexham town, but lots of things that need addressing. And I've been really active on the town council. I've been on all the committees, and I've had some projects of my own which I've led on. So the bandstand sessions, Grow Hexham, the Bluegrass Festival, Hexham as an arts town, as well as doing all the things that town councillors do. And I stood as parliamentary candidate in the past. I'm really committed to this place. I've lived here for 30 years. I brought my daughter up here, and I feel like I want my town to be the best it possibly can, and I feel that I can help that happen as a town councillor.
So what would your top 3 priorities be if you were re-elected as a town councillor?
Well, there's a lot of priorities in this town, although it is flourishing at the moment, and a big one is housing. And people think that the town council don't have anything to do with housing, and directly we don't, but we're a really important lobbying group, calling, for example, developers and the county council to account. We desperately need housing here, and properly affordable housing. So housing is one of the things that I'm really active on. The other thing is I would want to continue the project about people growing food and distributing and learning gardening, because I think that the world is so uncertain at the moment that whatever we can do locally in terms of climate change, in terms of addressing poverty and promoting equality and making that a real thing is really important. So all the things the town council do are important, but we have a bigger reach than most people imagine. And I think that we need to bring more money into the town, and the town council can do that, not just through the precepts, but also applying for grants and things. So I think we've got to look at expanding the size of our pie.
So why should people vote for you in the election on the 1st of May?
Well, I hope people vote for me because they think that my record of public service, which has actually gone much further back than the town council, I've always been involved in lots of projects in the town, that the things that I do are worthwhile, and that the principles that I hold dear are ones that they want to support. If they do vote for me, I absolutely guarantee that I always recognise that it's the most extraordinary thing for somebody to give you their vote, and that you have to all the time be referring to what the people of the town think, what they want you to do, and to do the best that you can, and I hope that's what I always do.
Penny, thank you very much for talking to Hexhamtv.
Thank you.
My name's Pete Woods, you're watching Hexhamtv. Who are you?
Rad hair.
Rad, and you're standing to be elected at the town council elections on the 1st of May.
Correct.
Which party are you representing?
Conservative.
Tell me a little bit about your background, Rad.
Well, I started my education not far from here, the SEAL School, and I've been in Hexham for nearly all my life, apart from 10 years in Nigeria. I moved on to the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, I might mention that, and I got my graduate from there, and then 10 years in Nigeria. So as for the council side, I was very fortunate to be elected as mayor for 2 years, and a very splendid 2 years it was for the town. It was the Queen's Diamond Jubilee, and we were ably and very, very welcome sponsorship from EGA. So there it was a great 2 years, and generally speaking I've really enjoyed council work. Of course, as you appreciate, I'm getting on a bit, but I thought I'd have another go at it, and there we are. That's about me.
And if you were elected, what would your 3 priorities be?
I think the main priority, if I can say, is Hexham and Hexham people. Because this is quite a remarkable town, and I suppose in a way I miss it because I'm no longer a town councillor. And I would like to make Hexham a major priority. I know there are other things, but Hexham Town Council is a civic organisation, and it is the civic side of Hexham, and you and I are surrounded by that. We're in the bandstand, we're in the park, and the seal is behind us, and the magnificent Abbey. Not to mention Bowman Street, and I can go on forever, and I'm talking to people that know it all, and I'm sure appreciate it all, but that's really it.
Why should people vote for you, Red?
I hope they vote for me simply because I would like to put a little bit more Hexham back into the council. When I mean that, I'm not criticising other councillors, but I do think maybe we should get a little bit more onus on selling Hexham, because it's had a dusty old time. I know the main streets have been done, pavements and so on, but there's a lot to be done. As we appreciate when we look around, the paths leading to this bandstand need desperate attention. And that's not the only thing, but there we are, that's about it.
Rad, thank you very much for talking to Hexhamtv.
Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you.
My name's Pete Woods, you're watching Hexhamtv. Who are you?
Hi Pete. I'm Faye Hartland, and I'm standing for Leazes ward in the Hexham Town Council elections on May the 1st.
And what party do you represent, if any, Faye?
I'm independent, so I actually quite strongly believe that party politics are irrelevant at local level, and that all the people on the council should actually just want what's best for Hexham. So it's best to come to the council without any political bias or influence.
And tell me a little bit about your background.
I was head teacher at Kielder Primary School for 11 years, so that's really helped me with managing the budget, which I've done for 4 years as chair of the Finance Committee. I've lived in Hexham for 30 plus years. I've got 2 girls in their 20s who've been through Hexham schools, and I think we live in a fantastic place, but as always it can be even better, so I'm looking forward to again working towards making it even better than it is now.
And what would be your top 3 priorities if you were elected again?
I think the first one, as quite a sort of short term one, would be improving or actually replacing the play park at the Seal. Because we've managed the budget quite well over the 4 years, it's looking like we'll be able to fund that quite soon, and I know that that's very heavily used and it would make a huge difference to many people. So that's probably my top priority. My second one is to continue working with Northumberland County Council to improve accessibility around the town for residents and for visitors. So we've been looking specifically at adding more drop curbs, because people in either wheelchair users or people in mobility scooters have a lot of trouble getting up and down the roads and moving around Hexham, but also actually people with buggies. So that's a priority as well of mine. My third one, alongside improving the Seal Play Park, with a general upgrade of our green spaces and ensuring that they are accessible for everybody, that people know what we've got. For instance, there's a sensory garden that is underused and maybe needs a little bit of TLC. So they're very heavily used, and it's just making sure that they remain in good condition and that people can come and enjoy them alongside the bandstand sessions and things.
And why should people vote for you?
As I say, I've been on the council for 4 years. I felt quite humbled last time to be voted in, and I've worked very hard for all the residents. We work together, although we're elected in specific wards, we work together as a team for the whole of Hexham. And I'm just looking forward actually to being able to work with residents, with other members of the council, with the County Council to improve Hexham, mainly through the things I've said, but also just generally make Hexham a better place to live for people, and a place that visitors want to come to, which increases the footfall and means we continue to get our independent traders doing well.
Faye, thanks very much for talking to Hexhamtv.
Okay, thank you, Pete.
My name's Pete Wood, you're watching Hexhamtv. Who are you?
Hello, I'm Derek Kennedy. I'm currently the Mayor of Hexham and the County Councillor for Hexham West.
And you're an independent councillor, is that right, Derek?
I am an independent. I've been a councillor for some 22 years in Hexham.
What would your top 3 priorities be if you were re-elected to Hexham Town Council and to the County Council, Derek?
Yes, so there's some great challenges ahead for Hexham. We've done some great things as a town council, and I've been happy to lead that and work with many members of different groups and parties and independents. We've done some fantastic things, but there's still a number of things to achieve. Hexham bus station. This has been outstanding now for about 8 years. We've tried and pushed and tried to cajole the County Council into doing things. However, we are still at a very sticky point. We've improved the high street with the heritage zone, so that's now looking fantastic, but we have the blight of the old bus station. So one of the key factors of my campaign is to push for the County Council to do a compulsory purchase on the bus station. The second key factor for me is the old police houses which sit behind the police station in Hexham West. Again, these have been around about 10 years. They've been empty. We need social housing in Hexham, and again I've been pushing with the police commissioner for those to be either a refurbishment or a rebuild in that area, so those houses become social housing, which is what we desperately need in Hexham. It's been a travesty that they've been left like that. And the third thing is I think the play parks. We've done some wonderful things getting money for a new skate park. However, it's time to now invest in our children's play parks, particularly the Seal Play Park. I used to take my children there when they were little, and it is now looking tired. It's been well used, and we now need to put some investment in there. We've put £60,000 in there as a start, but we will be looking for grants, etc. And we want to work with parents of children who use that play park to come up with a new design and to put some investment in there, and we'll do that across all the play parks. Could take some time, but we certainly see that as one of the priorities.
And why should people vote for you for both the town and the county council elections, Derek?
Good question. So I've been doing this for 22 years, which seems like forever, but I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It is a very frustrating job, but it also comes with some really great achievements. So I think what I can bring is experience, trust. The members of the public know who I am, very contactable, and they know that I continually do the job. There's a number of people who are standing against me. None of them have represented Hexham West before, so they will all have to start from scratch, whereas I bring 22 years of experience, lots of contacts, and they know how hard I work. I put a lot of effort into Hexham. It's my home. I've got 3 generations of my family living here, and I live and breathe Hexham.
Derek, thank you very much for talking to Hexhamtv.
Many kinds, Hexhamtv.
My name's Pete Wood, you're watching Hexhamtv. Who are you?
I'm Nigel Porter, standing for the Leazes ward in the Town Council and the County Council elections.
And what parties do you represent, Nigel?
I represent the Labour Party, although I must say I think when it comes to Town Council, I don't think party politics has got much to do with the way people work with each other. I think it's different for the County Council, but I think for Town Council it really shouldn't be a party political issue for the most part.
And what's your background?
My background is in social services. I worked in social services all my life and in the NHS. I was a social worker and a social work manager. and then a senior manager in the NHS in County Durham for my last job. So covered social care and health.
And if elected, what would your top 3 priorities be?
I think the first thing is to try and influence the planning people. I know that's a county issue rather than a town council issue, but things like the old bus station, things like affordable housing, they're so important to people. When I've been going around knocking on doors, these seem to be the big issues that people are concerned about, along with potholes and the state of the roads. And even if we can't control them in the town council, hopefully we could influence the county council to have an impact on some of these big issues. So that's the number one thing. I think my second issue is to support the cultural events in Hexham. I think Hexham's become well known nationally really for its book festivals, music festivals, even the film festivals now, and I think those cultural events, which are particularly led and supported by Penny Grennan, my colleague on the town council, really to support that initiative. But add to that things like the sport and leisure. Make sure we keep those important facilities, the sports facilities particularly for the football and the cricket and what have you, and make sure they're supported. So that's my second one. The third one really is to keep these wonderful open spaces that I'm standing in, that we've got around Hexham. And I think when I take my grandchildren to the playground here in the Seal, it does look a bit tired, so I think there's improvements we need to make to that. So focusing on those sorts of issues I think are important as well.
And why should people vote for you in the town and county council elections, Nigel?
Well, I mean, I suppose first of all I have to say I'm never done this before, I've never stood before, but maybe having a fresh pair of eyes is a positive thing. So I bring new blood, I suppose, that's one thing. I've got a background in organisation and management, so hopefully that would be of some use and some relevance to supporting the town council in trying to improve things for Hexham. And I think the other thing is I'm a listening person. It's about listening skills sometimes. We need to do what people feel strongly about in Hexham, and one of the things I did learn as my career is listen carefully to what people say and give it some credence and give it some validity. So hopefully that's an important personal thing that I would bring to the council.
Nigel, thank you very much for talking to Hexhamtv.
Thank you.
My name's Pete Woods, you're watching Hexhamtv. Who are you?
I'm Tom Charlotte and I'm standing for the Green Party for Hexham Town Council.
And which ward is that, Tom?
That is for Leazes ward, so the west of Hexham.
So Tom, tell me a little bit about your background.
So I've lived in Hexham for about 5 years now. I'm an architect and I specialise in sustainable design, passive houses, mainly domestic buildings, but working within the community.
And if you were elected, Tom, what would your top 3 priorities be?
So my priorities, I think they relate to my areas of expertise, being architecture. So we have a number of brownfield sites within Hexham, which I'm keen to see developed and move forward, namely the bus station, which is obviously sat derelict for quite some time. There's the middle school, which I would like to see supported in being developed in the most sustainable manner possible. And then there's obviously the police houses as well. So I would see those move forward.
Why should people vote for you, Tom?
So I'm looking to bring a bit of youth to the town council, to bring a bit of diversity of views. We've seen over the past 4 years the benefit of those different views on the council, and I'd like to see that continue. And I'm also looking to bring my expertise with architecture, with the urban environment, to benefit the people of Hexham.
Tom, thanks very much for talking to Hexhamtv.
Cheers. Thank you, Pete.